I'm gonna lose it, right? Hello, and we say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all doing? All right, very exciting. It is our pleasure to be with you in this way, and we once again thank you for allowing this transmission to occur in the way that it occurs. There is much energy to be moved today in a way, and you move energy by simply shifting your point of focus once more. So you are learning how to shift your focus to much higher levels of reality, and this will occur collectively in the times to come. So we congratulate you for being what you may consider the forerunners of consciousness in this way. We would like to discuss the ideas of time and space in order for you to get a more complete understanding of all that you are. Now, these ideas have been shared by others, though we agree very clearly with how these laws operate. So, if you would describe that there are absolute truths to the universe, to the multiverse, they would be as follows. The first is that you exist. You will always exist, and when you are born again into spirit, leaving physical reality, you will still exist in a different form. The second universal law is that all is one, and the one is in all. And so, every single one of you is that creative spark of the creative force that some have called God, and you contain within yourself the blueprint of all of reality. From your point of incarnation, you can access all other realities, though you will perceive them through your own filters of belief. We will discuss that more at a later point, but that is the point for now, that the one is in all. And as you learn to discover this, you can use everything that appears around you as a constellation or a hologram for that bigger picture. Now the next is that everything is here and now. So this idea of time that you experience is but a limited perspective that you have chosen to incarnate into. And while it is limited, it has great reward. It gives you the ability to have many sorts of experiences that benefit you, that show you how to learn and expand yourself through contrast. While you do experience this, there is higher levels of you that are not limited by time and space. And the truer reality is that every moment you consider the past and every moment you consider the future is actually occurring right now, as are many different parallel dimensions that are at higher density or dimensional levels that do not experience time in a linear sense. Many of these realities are still what you would consider physical. They may be quasi-physical or somewhat physical, resembling physical, yet they do not abide by the same linear construct of time, and beings in those realities can shift through different experiences, different frames of reality at will. In the same way, you will learn to do such things at this moment of your time today. The other law is what you put out comes back. So this is the universal understanding of frequency. Whatever frequency state you are in what you are doing, and what you are thinking, and how you are relating to the world around you and others within it, is exactly how the world around you and others will respond to you. This is what you have distorted into your understanding of a karma of sorts. Yet, ultimately, it all comes back to here and now. What you are putting out here and now determines what will come back to you in the next moment. It matters not what you have done in the past, it matters how you perceive that past here and now. This means even if you have done something horrendous an hour ago, if you transform your relationship to it and bring about a higher frequency now, what will come back to you will be different now. The last law is everything changes but those first laws. So reality is very malleable and will always continue to change. These are the basics, yet every other level of understanding will always change when you ascend to a new level of awareness of yourself as source. So the more you can be not attached, willing to adapt to different circumstances, the easier time you will have adjusting to these higher frequencies. Now these laws serve as a foundation for discovering what you may discover today at your time. So we would like to discuss this idea of parallel realities. Now, let's discuss a bit the mechanics of time. Again, you are choosing this experience of linear time, and as this fourth dimensional, as you call it, being, you do experience that one moment leads to another and leads to another. Yet what actually is occurring is that a soul that you are, the bigger soul, has an infinite amount of expressions in an infinite amount of timelines. The universe can hold the space for infinity beyond the finite, limited perspective that you have believed for much time on your planet. And so every single nanosecond you shift billions of times into a different parallel reality. And splitting off from every choice point, there are different realities that exist that splinter off into many different directions. All of those realities are actually accessible through your own consciousness. What you have called imagination is a way that your body and mind filters information from parallel realities. So, for example, there is this idea of the Mandela effect in your world, that many people believe that Nelson Mandela died in prison, where the evidence shows to the contrary. Yet, because there are different dimensions, different parallel realities, and your Earth has shifted into a reality in which the past is different from what many people believed, they kept the evidence from that past in their consciousness. Yet when they looked outwards towards physical reality, when the collective level of physical reality has chosen to shift into a higher vibrational frequency, they found that what actually occurred was different. So in this way, when you actually shift your focus, you actually change your past. Yet you have programmed memory so strongly that there are some things about your past that will be harder to shift than others. And as you continue to evolve, you may find that what you consider memory is changing very quickly. You may remember things that you did not once remember. Memories from different parallel realities will start to come back to you. And this is evidence to show you that you are truly a different person in each and every moment. Do you follow so far?
Yes.
All right. The next point we will make is here about what you consider your other lifetimes. So, in many of your religions that have become popular, because in a way they have stayed a little bit closer to the pure wisdom of Source than many others that have gone down a path of violence. These religions have spoken of ideas of reincarnation, a cycle of reincarnation. And this is true, but a partial truth. Because, again, in every single nanosecond, you are a different person. Those other lifetimes that are part of your same oversoul are different people having different experiences. And as you shift your focus, the different lifetimes that are a part of your oversoul will shift in their relation to you. When you go to a psychic, for example, they will read for you your past lives. And if you go to a different psychic the next day, after learning what you learned about your past lives the first day, you will be told about different past lives. Because when you shift your focus in your present reality and become a different person, the parallel connections from which you draw energy and information and even talents and gifts will shift as well. This is not to say that these connections are not real. They are very real, and you can use them to remember talents, gifts, ancient wisdom, as you call it. Though you must be clear in understanding that that is a different person having a different experience. And that experience is occurring right here and now. Just as much as there are an infinite different versions of the human you consider yourself to be, there are an infinite amount of versions of those other beings from what you call the past having many different experiences. And again, as you shift your focus, those different timelines from which you connect to that part of your soul will also change. For example, if you are in a pattern of great victimization and you choose to release yourself from that pattern, a parallel version of yourself hundreds of years ago that was abused will find an escape route in their time and space. That doesn't mean that there is not a version of them that is abused to death. Yet because you end your pattern, you stop drawing information from the person who was abused to death in that way, and you then start to draw parallel information, parallel energies from the person who found a way to escape, found a way to end that pattern. Do you follow so far? And now, let us talk of this idea of the future. Because as much as you have different past lives that are occurring right now, you have different future lives that are occurring right now. And we are such example. We are an example of this. There is a group of souls or entities from the world you call the Pleiades that are part of the channel's oversoul. In developing this ability, the channel began to draw information and energy from many of these different beings. And over time, one stood out and chose to remain in connection for the purpose of this channeling. As a telepathic group of beings, we have the awareness of, the ability to connect to a collective field of energy that is the higher mind of our civilization as a whole. And so we know what is going on in all members of our world at a given time, and we ride the waves of energy as different cosmic cycles occur that influence our planet. We are aware of what is occurring for all members of our world at the same time, and we are aware of a group realm of knowledge and consciousness and information from which we can draw information. And as we explore other parts of this galaxy, that information expands, and we gain access to more information continuously. And beings like yourselves allow us to expand our understanding. And again, we thank you for that. So you as well have different soul aspects from other planets that can send to you different levels of information. And it is really as simple as imagining them. Now, today you may experience the ability to go to the past, to the future. And one more realm we will speak about is, again, as the future is here and now, you can go to future timelines of your own beingness, your own soul. to see the trajectory of where you are going and find a clearer vibrational resonance with the reality that you would prefer. It really is as simple as allowing your intention to emerge and using your imagination and following your passion in this way. And you will be able to make these connections to both future versions of yourself and parallel versions of yourself in the same present moment that have chosen different times and different lessons. You can learn those lessons without going through the same timeline. As you open yourself to expand to a greater multidimensional sense of who you are, you will be able to draw in energy, draw in information, draw in understanding from beyond what you see around you with your two eyes. And as you do this, then you integrate that information in your being, and again, the world around you will change to match the more complete, more whole understanding of yourself that you are. So one thing we will finish this idea, this discussion with, is the idea of a soul fragmentation. So this is when you experience such great emotional pain in your past that you leave that pain in that moment. You bury it in the past in that way. And when you bury it in the past, you also bury it in your body. So your body holds the whole record of the current past that you are linked to. And by awakening that pain and that version of yourself that is really lodged in that past, you can choose to change that past with your imagination. You can choose to allow that emotional energy to flow through you and then use your imagination to create a new image of what occurred in that moment. One that is more representative of what you would prefer to experience in the now moment. This is not to say that I was not abused, I was not experiencing that sort of an accident or that sort of a embarrassment at that time. No, it is to say that I don't prefer to feel the way I felt in that moment. So I'm going to use my mind to create a new image that is representative of what I would prefer to feel. And as you then bring more of your focus to how you'd prefer to feel and what you would have preferred to happen, you will actually change the past, and you may eventually even lose some of the memory of those challenging moments. And the pain and the scar on your energy field that left will no longer be there. You will still have some idea that could have happened, that was a potential, though as you begin to be the version of yourself you would really prefer to be, the scarring, the damage of that will be removed, and you will find yourself loving your entire life from this moment. You will eventually be able to experience and say that my life has been very happy. So, we thank you for allowing yourself to receive and integrate this information. And as we continue now, we will be present with you, as will many other aspects of your own oversoul that will assist you in applying this knowledge in a way that is practical and changes your beingness into a new person, a new being with a more complete, a more joyful way of being. Do you have any questions about this material at this time? We will not answer any questions that are not related. So if there is something you have not completely gotten at this time, please do ask now. All right. We thank you, and we shall interact with you in other ways. Pleasant day to you.
Thank you.